Congressman Jason Smith, Republican from Missouri, joins me now. Hunter is flying around the world with his dad and doing business deals. You're investigating. Congressman, how close are you to proving the president being directly involved in these business deals?
You know, it's pretty disappointing, Stuart, and it's not that hard to connect the dots. You see more than $20 million has went to the Biden family and its affiliates, and it's solely because of the perception of influence that Hunter and other members of the Biden family have with the President of the United States, including where several individuals has came forward saying that they had the president on speakerphones talking to their business associates. It's so disturbing. We had that WhatsApp message that the whistleblowers brought forward to us that was from Hunter Biden to a Chinese business partner saying, we need to hear from you immediately. I'm seated right next to my father waiting. It's just, there's so many lines to it, and we're starting to connect the dots, but we're following the facts. And it's going to lead to something that may not be the most fitting for the President of the United States.
The FBI and a couple of IRS agents, I believe, are going to be subpoenaed. What are you looking for?
Absolutely. We've subpoenaed 2 IRS agents and 2 members of the FBI, and it's all based around an October 7th, 2022 meeting where our IRS whistleblower said that at that moment, the prosecutor in the case, Mr. David Weiss, who's now the special counsel named by the Attorney General of the United States, said that he was denied the ability to bring charges in California and to bring charges in Washington, D.C., and also denied special counsel access. Well, now you have Mr. Weiss saying something differently. You have the Attorney General of the United States who's testified before Congress saying something differently. And these other individuals that we have subpoenaed were in the room. We want to hear from them. But unfortunately, the Biden administration has been stonewalling us and preventing them from coming before Congress. But let me tell you, Jim Jordan and myself are not going to slow down. We will have them come before Congress. That's why we issued the subpoenas on Monday.
Quickly, Congressman, let's get back to the debate. Mike Pence promised to bring back Trump-era tax cuts if elected. Watch this real fast, please. Roll tape.
When I'm president of the United States, we're actually going to cut taxes further. We're going to extend those tax cuts, and we're going to close the Federal Department of Education, block grant all that funding back to the states. With a growing economy and educational choice and law enforcement, we will bring our cities back.
Congressman, you are the powerful chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. You control the purse strings. I understand that you want to cut spending, that's a must to you. Can you tell us what spending you would cut?
Well, first off, I'd like to respond to the vice president's comments on the tax cuts. I was thrilled to hear him say that in the debate last night, because no one's talking about the roughly $3 trillion of tax increases that's going to happen on Americans, all Americans, when these tax cuts expire in 2025. In regards to the spending, there's numerous areas where we can look at, Stuart, to cut spending. For example, let's start with the executive orders that this administration has done with the stroke of a pen. They have cost more than $1 trillion to taxpayers. That's an easy way to start. And then look at the Inflation Reduction Act that passed. It is more than 250% higher than what the cost of what they passed just over a year ago. More than $700 billion. And guess what? Those tax credits, 90% of those credits go to companies with more than $1 billion in sales. So it's not about the little people. It's about the big guy, is what the Biden team has definitely rewarded.
We'll leave it right there. Congressman Jason Smith, the powerful chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. Always appreciate it. Come back soon.
Thanks, Stuart.
Yes, sir.